I won't lie, Rosie. I'm a bit worried about the goaltending situation,
Hmm.
aside from Samsonov and Wall. Like, I have all the confidence in those guys. We talked about this last week, but to look at Joseph Woll and say he's ready to be a goalie in the NHL, I get it. He has 11 games of NHL experience. And my problem is, and again, I understand we're still in mid-July here and likely they'll add somebody, but they need to find insurance, in between the pipes, whether it's a veteran like Yaroslav Halak or Brian Elliott we've talked about. I think it's so important because I think you speak to the volatility of this position. There's no way in hell the Leafs go into next season and it's just Joseph Woll and Ilya Samsonov we see in there. I mean, just look at what happened this year, right?
I mean, you can't say there's no way in hell
It
that'll
scares
happen, but
me.
I mean, I think if you're looking down the road and trying to cover your bases and protect yourself, it would be nice to have some kind of insurance policy there. What does that do to Joseph Wall? Is he up all year? Is this, say they sign a Halak or an Elliott, like we're speaking of a guy with, I don't know if those guys are going to want to sign and go down to the Marlies and just pop up every once in a while, but maybe they do. I don't know. Um, it'll be an interesting situation. And again, all signs point to Wall being ready to be
Yeah.
a solid goaltender. He looks like he's got a very bright future. But again, the sample size is small and nobody does know the future. And let's just say it doesn't go perfectly for him this year. What do you do to save games and to still get points and to still be up there in the standings and give yourself a good playoff position? You know, you don't want to find yourself in a tough spot. So whether they find that or not would be interesting. Again, they have cap issues they got to figure out. Got to figure out this Murray thing. Lots of moving parts still, and still an interesting time for the Maple Leafs, even though it is mid-July, like you say.
Well, that's the thing too with Wall. Like he has to go through waivers if he goes down. So he will start the season with a tandem with Ilya Samsonov. I'm just thinking from the vantage point of maybe like an injury occurs or something like that happens. Do you have somebody else? Like I don't want a Michael Hutchinson situation again. Like I heard he was great in the room, but the guy couldn't stop the puck. Like you can't have a situation where you're playing meaningful hockey games and you have nobody to lean on. I know it's difficult in this league. There are some teams with more depth than others when it comes to the crease position, but the fact that they have two guys and not much more after that who are NHL ready at this point is slightly concerning. But to your point, I mean, that's the key here is finding somebody. I don't know if a veteran's going to be able to take that job and say, swallow some pride and know that they're going to be in the AHL for the majority of the season. That in lies the problem, I think.
I think so. You lock a guy up, and maybe you can throw him a few more bucks to make it worthwhile in the minors. You don't have to pay
Mhm.
escrow while you're in the minors. Maybe you could spin it to a guy who says, "Hey, this will be my one last year. Maybe I get some time up with the Leafs. That could, reinvigorate my career or get me a job elsewhere down the road or in Toronto." There is an opportunity that lies in there, but you got to find the right guy with the right mindset.